can.
Yeah. Okay. So Ori and the Blind Forest is a 2D indie platform game. It was released on Xbox in 2015, and then on Nintendo Switch in 2019. Its engine is built in Unity, and it was the first game that the Moon Studio designed and released. Its original price is about $20. So the game is about Ori, who is a spirit guardian who was separated from the spirit tree. He was picked up by Naru, this kind creature of the forests, who then takes care of him. The two enjoys each other's company for a while, when one day a bright light flashes across the forest, causing some destruction and disharmony. And after a while, when things quiet down, they went to gather some food, but they realized that the forest has begun to die. And by the time we take control of the character, Naru has already died. So with Ori's only partner gone, he starts a new life, and after a bit of struggling, we meet Zain, this speck of a light, and he will act as a guide and a friend to Ori for the rest of our quests. At this point, our journey is self-evident. With the help of Stein and the guidance of the spirit tree, we must restore the forest to its former power. So Ori is gone into a journey to save the forest of Nibel from this dangerous decay spreading throughout the land. The player controls Ori, this white guardian spirit, and Zain, who is the light and eyes of this spirit tree. Ori can jump, climb, and use other abilities to navigate, and Zain can shoot spirit flames to combat enemies or break obstacles. Ori is required to interact with the environment by jumping from platforms and solving puzzles, and is faced with different enemies. The player helps Ori collect health cells and energy cells and new abilities and upgrades. At the start of the game, Ori is not very powerful. He can only perform basic. Are you seeing the video now?
No, we can't. We are not.
No, you are still okay.
If you are sending the whole of the screen, you can just switch.
Yeah. This one. Okay. Okay. Are you see the YouTube window now?
Yes. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So at the start of the game, Ori is not that powerful. He can perform basic functions like walking, running, jumping, and saving the game. And over the course of the game, he gains a set of skills and abilities by learning the talents of other spirit guardians, and or by purchasing them from certain NPCs, or by triggering certain events. Once mastering the skill he has, Ori can be a very dangerous character to defeat, and out of all risks, the two bird type figures, Kuro and Shriek, are Ori's greatest and most powerful threats. So right after the tutorial level, where the player familiarize themselves with these basic controls, the game starts cycles of this learning new abilities and then practicing them and solving puzzles and at the end facing some challenges and combats with these abilities. So after each ability is introduced, there are some levels designed for the player to practice and master that ability. So when the next ability is introduced, the player is always ready to learn that ability and face new challenges. Oli learns most of his core abilities through the ancestral trees, except for the Spirit Flame and the Kuro's Feather, which are story events. But each of these skill is crucial to the continuation of the game. For example, the Spirit Flame is the first skill that Ori learns. We can use it to attack enemies, and it can be upgraded by putting ability points into this offensive skill tree. There's the double jump, which is another essential skill that grant access to new areas. There's the dash, which allows Ori to move quickly in one direction for about half a second. And so there are three branches of Ori's ability tree, like here, this one, each containing abilities which share a common theme. So this is the utility abilities. These are aid in survival and defense. There is the efficiency abilities. These make the pickups and the looting more efficient and provide conveniences for the exploration. And there is the combat abilities, which gains Ori's offensive capabilities. So it makes the combats easier. So Ori is this small white creature with similar features to a human or a bunny. It has a cat-like tail and a large black eyes with white pupils. It has two short horn-like ears on top of its head, and underneath them there are larger ears, which hangs down when Ori is unhappy or weak. So it's a 3D animated character. Its texture is 100% self-illuminated diffuse texture. It's almost pure black and white. So it's all about the silhouette, because the background is very detailed, and it needed to be a very contrasted colors and the character. So there is no light or shadow on it. It has a cat rig applied on it, and its rendering was done in orthographic side view with no light, and the motion blur baked in the animations. So the camera is placed far away from the character because of the character's size. And are you watching the video right now? Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So Ori is small on the screen, but we have great visibility in all directions. Even if the game is a fast paced, we always have time to to anticipate upcoming dangers. And this is also due to the way the levels are designed, but the camera remains a great help. You're not hearing me?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
Yeah, oh, okay. Oh, I thought that you wrote me in the chat. Okay.
No, not for you.
Okay. Yeah, so the environments are very detailed, and as the hero and the monsters are small on the screen, they can be hard to spot, and that's why the gameplay related elements in the game emit light, so you can see them, and also we can spot walkable surfaces close to Ori because they get lit when we approach them. So the trail of light behind the character also helps us to understand its movements orientation. We can see at the bottom that there are these blue and green balls, which represents the energy cell and the life cells. In between them, there is the ability point meter, which shows the collected points number. Energy cells are the blue balls that increases Ori's energy by 1 when picked up some. The life cells are the green balls that shows how much life Ori has left. These life shards can be obtained by defeating enemies or punching certain plants. And and there's a force system which doesn't depend on gathering items. These are the ancestral trees. These are placed in different locations, and we must find them in order to get new moves and controls, such as the double jump, the dash, the climb walls, etc., etc. So the goal of the game is kind of to explore all the map parts, and in order to do that, we must find these mapstone fragments, which you can just sew there, and so the ultimate reward for the player is to unlock all new abilities, which enables new locations, and therefore being able to quickly zoom around the map. And once you collected all these map fragments, which indicated in the top left corner, you can easily move wherever whenever you want. These are the collectible items. When Ori finds a spirit gate, we have to collect 2 or 4 keystones, depending on the amount of keystones required to open the door. The keystones placed in locations that help challenge the player and apply skills learned to collect them. The energy cells act as a resource, able to be used for many purposes, like opening energy gates, creating soul link, or to charge up and perform charge flame. And there's the mapstones which I mentioned. So when a mapstone fragment is placed into a mapstone, a large portion of the map is revealed. And they placed throughout the map and usually require some extra effort to collect them. When Ori is being harmed by an NPC, a red flash effect applies to its body, and is unable to get harmed until it is back to its original state, which is it's a very short time, like 1 second. And the death, as most games usually include in their set of states, is a circumstance when Ori becomes inanimate. due to the game object killing them through some course of action. In Ori and the Blind Forest, if Ori somehow comes in contact with a harmful object during gameplay, and it is on its final life cell, it will burst in a flash of light and immediately reappear at their last checkpoint or soul link. Ori will experience instant death when it interact with certain game objects, and instead of merely taking away a single life cell, those game objects will kill Ori unconditionally. So the number of life cells Ori may have at any given time does not affect the outcome at all. For example, if Ori falls into lava, it will die instantly, even at full health. So the enemies of the game are creatures of the forest, which can harm and kill Ori through different methods of attack. There are different kinds of enemies with different damage points and health bars. Some of them are mobile, as directly following Ori, and some of them are stationary and initiated only by getting close to them. Sometimes certain enemies are part of the puzzles, so the quick respawn time is necessary for them and for the gameplay. Sometimes non-puzzle essential enemies respawn the second we leave the screen, forcing us to fight them again. But once we get the bash ability, we can just choose to dash through the enemies if we don't feel like fighting them. And there are also non-player characters, part of the puzzles, which also harmful to Ori when interacting. For example, spikes constantly spinning, axes, or swinging hammers. But these movements are usually predictable by being aware of the physics laws. So yeah, these are some of the enemies which you can fight in the game with different mobility or types of attacks. So there are three main systems in Ori and the Blind Forest. The first one is the ability tree, which I mentioned earlier. The player must choose between those three branches of abilities, one for the attack, one for the defense, and the last one is for making the pickups and the looting easier. In order to unlock the abilities, the player must collect the yellow balls or orbs that enemies drop when they die. The strategy of the game is focused on picking the right abilities to make our playthrough easier. We can combine abilities from two or the three branches, but if we unlock a chain, the next one always costs a little more points. So by investing ability points in the survival branch makes the game much easier, especially once you get to once we get to the triple jump. The offensive capabilities are very handy, but not essential, because most of the deaths will be due to the environmental damage. The exploration line is great for finding secret areas and extra pickups. So we can do some strategy about these purchases regarding our needs in the game. So here's this graph about the players' attitudes, which would represent the types of game playing available in this game. I think it's kind of easy to understand. If you run through the levels without collecting things or pay attention to the side quests, and just kill the enemies, that is it's a warrior type player. If you only collect the things and explore the level's secrets, that is an agile explorer type. And there is the in-betweens, the speed runner and the calm achiever. There is a very unique system in the game, which is instead of the game saving automatically every once in a while, we have the ability to set our own save points whenever we would like. This uses limited energy, but we need to make sure we are saving often. Otherwise, we might be sent back a long ways if we forgot to do so. The game doesn't really hold our hands with this responsibility. For this, we need to be in charge of our own. And the other thing is that that certain areas of the game aren't even blocked off to us. It's just a more much more harder area with difficult enemies. We only would realize that we wasn't supposed to go there yet when we get killed instantly because of the much higher ranked enemies. But the game gives us the choice in the first place, so that freedom to choose. So as the enemies are available to fight, however, it is impossible yet at that early time. So we are given freedom, but controlled freedom instead of just control. On the other hand, they still able to limit the players' wall jumping by giving curves to certain walls, but the key is how it feels to be able to access almost every inch of the game. Yeah, so instead of limiting players' power so that they can't cross certain sections, they instead change the entire layout of the levels to accommodate your power. And it still feel like you're progressing while playing. And about the feedbacks, it's a quite a simple system. There is not really a reward than to be able to keep gaining powers and abilities. Therefore, being more stronger and better at the game. For me, the reward in the platform games is really just the feeling of success after a very hard puzzle game or a very hard level. But the visuals of this game is very spectacular in my opinion, and all of the loots and game objects interactions are made very precisely, and they look, I think, very beautiful. And that would be it, I think. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you for the presentation, Benedict. It's really interesting. ¿Preguntas o comentarios que tengáis por ahí? En español, en inglés también, ¿queráis?
Nah, everything was very clear.
Okay, then.
You did it so well.
Benedict,
Yes.
the scheme that you use to analyze the concept of the game between movement and combat, or the freedom of movement that you present, can you show us again? That scheme. You make a diagram scheme between representing the freedom of the movement of the player between the move and the combat, and just running quickly or just collect the things. Can you show us that scene again, please?
Yeah. Okay. This graph.
Yes,
this one.
Graph.
Yeah.
You made it?
No, I saw it in an analyzing video.
Oh, it's a very interesting one because it's.
Yeah, I think it's not only true for this game, but a lot of games. Yeah, in I don't know. So kind of every type of games, it's true. Yeah, and I thought that it's a very cool graph, and it explains a very very good theory.
Sí, eso es en los juegos representan, fijaros que se está dando diversas posibilidades de estrategias de juego según el perfil de jugador que quieras hacer, del tipo de juego, la estrategia que tengas, ¿vale? Pues puedes tener, aunque sea el mismo jugador, pero la forma de jugar puede ser distinta. Y entonces
Claro, se amolda un poco a lo que quieras hacer, ¿no?
Claro, pero que hay juegos que al elegir un personaje u otro, pues ya te condiciona con una serie de parámetros, otros que con el mismo personaje puedes jugar de una forma o puedes jugar con otro. Entonces me ha gustado el esquema este.
Haciéndolo crecer como te interese, ¿no?
Claro. Me ha gustado además que en este juego presentado pues se ve claramente las iteraciones que el jugador tiene que el personaje tiene que ir haciendo para ir creciendo pues con las habilidades que tiene y el feedback que no solamente es pues haber ganado o haber perdido, sino todas las bolitas que el hat ese que tiene que parecen los logros que va consiguiendo, las bolitas de abajo amarillas y azules estas que indican lo que le quedan, ¿vale? Esa parte está muy bien porque imaginaos este juego sin todo eso. O sea, imaginaos este juego, sí, muy mono, pero no tienes ese desarrollo tan elaborado del crecimiento del personaje, tan pormenorizado. Entonces esa parte creo que está bastante completa, le da un valor al juego bastante interesante. Aparte de la apariencia del juego, que es preciosa, ¿vale? Ahí en el último vídeo estamos viendo que usan el efecto ese de parallax no solamente con capas del fondo, sino incluso con capas de delante del jugador, que hay una rama ahí que estaba fastidiando un poco para la vista. Eso lo veremos también en Construct, cómo se puede hacer. Todo esto lo digo para que en los juegos que hagáis de Construct nada impide hacer esto. O sea, esta elaboración o tener en cuenta estos detalles que al final hacen que el juego sea más entretenido, más ameno, más completo, pues lo vais a poder hacer, ¿vale? Bueno, pues eso es... sí, eso... Bueno, comentabas también que el triple salto era una de las habilidades más útiles, que luego pues habrá algunas que sean más o menos útiles para el juego, pues sean. Pues muchas gracias. Thank you a lot. Been good for your presentation.
Thank you.